Elias felt like a ship without an anchor, tossed about by the relentless waves of time. Each day seemed to bring a new storm, yet the tempest within him remained unchanged. The horizon, once filled with promise, now seemed an endless expanse of uncertainty. Life had become a predictable pattern, each day blurring into the next. The city around him, with its towering buildings and bustling streets, felt like a maze he was destined to wander forever. The routine of his daily commute, the hum of the office, the same faces, the same tasks. It all felt like a never-ending loop. He felt a nagging sense of familiarity, a déjà vu that clung to him like a shadow. Every corner he turned, every decision he made, seemed to echo a past he couldn't quite remember. The nights were the hardest, filled with restless thoughts and unanswered questions. Dreams repeated, failures echoed past mistakes, and synchronicities, once intriguing, now felt like broken records of destiny. The clock's ticking became a constant reminder of time slipping away, of opportunities missed and paths not taken. His reflection in the mirror seemed to mock him, a silent witness to his growing despair. He went through the motions, a cog in the machinery of his own life. The work he once found fulfilling now felt like a series of meaningless tasks. The factory's hum, the city's noise, the endless stream of people. It all blurred into a cacophony of monotony. Work consumed his days, empty distractions filled his nights. The glow of the computer screen, the flicker of the TV, the silent streets outside, they all became his companions in solitude. He sought solace in the digital world, but it only deepened his sense of isolation. Relationships flickered and faded, leaving him with a sense of profound disconnect. The arguments, the misunderstandings, the silent treatments, they all took their toll. He found himself alone in crowded places, surrounded by people yet feeling utterly isolated. The empty park bench at dusk became a symbol of his loneliness. The world seemed to move past him, a blurry landscape viewed from the window of a speeding train. The fast-moving clouds, the fleeting glimpses of the city, they all seemed to mirror his inner turmoil. He felt like a passenger in his own life, watching from the sidelines as everything rushed by. Was this all there was? The question echoed in the hollow chambers of his heart. The empty hallways, the silent rooms, the contemplative face in the window, they all seemed to ask the same question. He longed for something more, something that would give his life meaning and purpose. Then, one rainy Tuesday afternoon, everything changed. The storm clouds gathered, the rain poured down, and the city seemed to hold its breath. It was as if the universe had conspired to bring about a moment of reckoning. Driving home after another monotonous day, a deer materialized from the mist. The road was slick, the visibility poor, and the sudden appearance of the deer jolted him from his reverie. It was a moment of clarity amidst the fog of his existence. The screech of brakes, the shattering of glass, the metallic tang of blood, these were the last sensations before darkness enveloped him. The accident was a violent rupture in the fabric of his life, a moment that would change everything. As he slipped into unconsciousness, he felt a strange sense of release, as if the chains that had bound him were finally breaking. The accident, a brutal interruption of his routine, became a catalyst. It was a night like any other, the road ahead shrouded in mist, the headlights cutting through the darkness. But in an instant, everything changed. The screech of tires, the crunch of metal, and then, silence. The crash was not just a collision of vehicles, but a collision of realities, forcing Elias into a confrontation with his own life. Confined to a hospital bed, his body broken but his mind strangely alert, Elias found himself on a different kind of journey. The sterile walls of the hospital room became the boundaries of his new world. Each day he navigated the pain and the monotony, but also the unexpected clarity that came with it. His physical immobility contrasted sharply with the mental voyage he embarked upon. Time, once a relentless current, slowed to a crawl. The ticking of the clock, once unnoticed, now marked the passage of each agonizing second. Days stretched into weeks and weeks into months. The slow movement of the clock hands became a metronome for his thoughts, each tick a reminder of the life he was forced to pause and examine. The silence, broken only by the beeping of machines, became a space for reflection. The rhythmic sounds of the medical equipment were a constant presence, a reminder of his fragility. Yet, in that quiet, Elias found a rare opportunity to listen to his own thoughts, to confront the fears and regrets that he had long buried under the noise of everyday life. He began to see the accident not as an ending, but as a beginning. It was a forced pause, a moment to reassess and realign. The crash had shattered his routine, But in the fragments he saw the potential for something new. It was a painful rebirth, but one that held the promise of transformation. The familiar feeling of déjà vu intensified, no longer a fleeting sensation but a persistent hum in the background of his awareness. It was as if the universe was nudging him, urging him to pay attention. Each moment of déjà vu was a thread, weaving together the past and the present, hinting at a deeper connection he had yet to understand. It was as if life had been trying to get his attention, and this was its most dramatic attempt yet. The crash was a wake-up call, a jarring reminder that he could no longer ignore the signs. The realization hit him with the force of the collision, shaking him to his core. He could no longer live on autopilot, he had to confront the truths he had been avoiding. As he lay there, fragments of his past came back to him with a clarity that was both unsettling and illuminating. Memories he had long suppressed resurfaced, each one a piece of the puzzle. He saw the patterns, the choices that had led him to this point. It was a painful process, but one that was necessary for his healing. Failed relationships, missed opportunities, recurring patterns of self-sabotage, they all seemed to point to a deeper truth he had been avoiding. Each regret was a lesson, each mistake a stepping stone. He realized that he had been living in a cycle, repeating the same errors and expecting different results. The crash was a chance to break free from that cycle. One afternoon, a book left by a well-meaning visitor caught his eye. It was a small gesture, but one that would have a profound impact. The book seemed out of place in the sterile environment of the hospital, its worn cover a stark contrast to the clinical surroundings. Yet, it called to him, promising answers to questions he had not yet asked. Its title, The Kybalion, resonated with an unfamiliar intensity. The name alone seemed to vibrate with a hidden energy, drawing him in. He felt an inexplicable connection to it, as if it held the key to the mysteries he was beginning to uncover. The Kybalion was not just a book, it was a doorway to a new understanding. He picked it up, his fingers tracing the worn cover, and began to read. Each page was a revelation, each word a spark that ignited his curiosity. The teachings within spoke to him on a level he had never experienced before. It was as if the book had been waiting for him, ready to guide him on this new journey of self-discovery. The crash had brought him to this moment, and now, with the Kybalion in hand, he was ready to embrace the path ahead. The words of the Kybalion, ancient Hermetic wisdom, resonated with Elias's soul. Each page he turned seemed to whisper secrets of the universe, secrets that felt both foreign and familiar. The book's teachings were like a mirror, reflecting the deepest parts of his being. The principle of rhythm, the ebb and flow of all things, struck a chord deep within him. He saw this rhythm in the world around him, in the rise and fall of the tides, the waxing and waning of the moon, and the changing seasons. It was a dance of nature, a cosmic ballet that played out in every aspect of existence. He saw his life, his relationships, his successes and failures, all as expressions of this universal dance. The principle of rhythm was not just an abstract concept, it was a living, breathing reality. Every joy and sorrow, every triumph and defeat was part of this grand symphony. The pendulum swings, he read, and what is high must come down and what is low must rise again. This simple yet profound truth resonated with him. He began to see the pendulum's motion in his own life, in the highs and lows he experienced. It was a comforting thought, knowing that every low point was just a precursor to a rise. He saw the truth in these words, recognizing the cyclical nature of his own experiences. The principle of rhythm was a key to understanding his life's patterns. It was a revelation that brought clarity and peace. He no longer saw his struggles as isolated events, but as part of a larger harmonious cycle. The highs and lows, the joys and sorrows, were not isolated events, but part of a larger pattern. Each moment, whether filled with happiness or pain, was a thread in the intricate tapestry of his life. This understanding gave him a new perspective, allowing him to embrace both the good and the bad with equal grace. He began to see his life as a series of spirals, each loop echoing the last but on a slightly different level. The spiral was a powerful symbol, representing growth and evolution. Each turn of the spiral brought him closer to his true self, to a deeper understanding of his place in the universe. The same themes played out, the same lessons presented themselves, until he learned and moved forward. Life was a teacher, and each experience was a lesson. The patterns repeated not to torment him but to guide him towards growth and enlightenment. The Kybalion became his guide, its principles offering a framework for understanding the repeating patterns of his life. It was more than just a book, it was a map, a compass, that pointed him towards his true north. With each reading, he uncovered new layers of wisdom, new insights that illuminated his path. He devoured books on ancient wisdom traditions, seeking answers in the echoes of the past. The teachings of the ancients were like a beacon, guiding him through the darkness of uncertainty. He found solace in their words, comfort in their timeless truths. The words of Lao Tzu, Buddha, and Rumi resonated with the truths he was uncovering within himself. Their teachings were like a symphony, each note harmonizing with the wisdom of the Kybalion. Together they formed a chorus of enlightenment, a melody that played in his heart and soul, guiding him towards a deeper understanding of himself and the universe. Section 4. The Universe as a Mirror. Elias felt a shift in his perception. He started to see the world, not as something happening to him, but as a reflection of his own inner state. The people in his life, the circumstances he encountered, were all mirrors reflecting aspects of himself back to him. Difficult people became teachers, challenging him to set boundaries and cultivate compassion. Painful experiences became opportunities for growth, revealing hidden patterns and limiting beliefs. He began to understand that life was not against him. It was for him, guiding him towards his own evolution. This realization was both liberating and terrifying. It meant taking responsibility for his life, his choices, and his reactions. It meant acknowledging the power of his own consciousness to shape his reality. He was not merely a passive observer, he was an active creator of his own experience. His curiosity led him to explore the fringes of science, delving into the mysteries of quantum physics and the nature of consciousness. Section 5. Quantum Leaps and Ancient Whispers. The more Elias explored, the more he realized the interconnectedness of all things. Quantum physics, with its talk of entangled particles and observer-dependent reality, resonated with the ancient wisdom he had been studying. He began to see the universe as a vast web of energy, constantly in motion, responding to his every thought and belief. He delved into accounts of near-death experiences, fascinated by the recurring themes of unconditional love, interconnectedness, and the dissolution of the ego. He felt a kinship with those who had brushed against the veil and returned with a transformed perspective. Gnostic texts, with their emphasis on direct experience and self-knowledge, spoke to his soul. He resonated with their message of liberation from the limitations of the material world and the awakening to one's true nature. He was piecing together a new understanding of reality, one where consciousness was primary and the material world secondary.